Welcome, guys. This is myself, Jailed Casting, along with Kaiser Klein co-casting. We are here for the EPL Season 2 Week 5 matchup between King of Osmane and SoldieR. How's it going, Kaiser?
Doing fine, doing fine. Glad to cast another. Should be another great series today. These guys are pretty good. The buzz been improving recently, I think, actually, and maybe not quite top, but not far from it either. So yeah, should be pretty exciting.
Yeah, they're both really good players in this tournament. Specifically, they have really good standings. They've performed really well. King of Osmane performing arguably the third best in the whole tournament so far, and SoldieR not far behind, performing around the 10th best so far. So, yeah, this should be really close. They're both of them really high rated players, and I'm really excited for this.
Yeah, totally. We do see King of Osman going for the Ottomans. For those who wouldn't know about it, King of Osman was formerly a vanilla player, like myself. So I used to play at this time. He was a bit better than me back then. We were maybe PR 30 or something, 35, and he would main Ottomans. So nowadays he's known as a Jap player. He plays basically only Japs on the ladder, but he sure can play some Otto. He used to lame a lot of Otto and vanilla. So not surprising to see him go for Ottomans on this map. High Plains having, of course, 5 trading posts in the middle. And SoldieR going for Germany, which is also a good pick on this map, and surely doesn't do poorly against Ottomans at all. So it makes sense.
Yeah, H3, I don't think it would do poorly. If it's an H2 fighting,
This is myself,
hold on just a second.
co-casting.
All right, yeah, if it is a lengthier age 2, I do expect Germany to have a bit of a better eco at the onset, but the units from Ottomans in H2 I think just kind of outclasses Germany's units in H2.
Yeah, you can totally play H2 for wide as Germany. There are some timings. For example, if Ottoman is going for Jan and Haas, you might be able to break the front base with crossbow pike or something like that. But sure, you don't want to stay colonial for too long. Eventually, your unit composition is just so much worse than the Ottoman one, especially because Apis can basically beat Ulans if you can cover them. You need like 9 Abers to kill one Ulan in one shot, which is kind of ridiculous. So yeah, absolutely. In terms of eco, though, it's going to depend on how many trading posts Ottomans can secure. But Ottoman has on this map the potential to outboom Germany pretty hard for sure. Oh, this is pretty smart from SoldieR. King of Osman going for the non-standard trading post, and SoldieR. Okay, I thought he was gonna just attack the Ottoman Explorer, but never mind. That would have been good play, but just coming back.
Yeah, I'm
I
not
guess
quite
there's a
sure.
native scout.
Yeah, the native scout, if he was,
Yeah.
I'm sure he was paying close attention. The native scout would allow him to both escape and I guess SoldieR is just wanting to do a little bit more on the map, get some more vision, perhaps try to find some treasures instead of trying to deal some damage to his scout to a unit that would get away anyways.
Yeah. I think. Well, he did pay closer attention than us for sure because I mean I didn't notice that native scout. So,
Yeah.
but I think SoldieR was trying to go for TP actually, even if it was a coin start. If you look at his macro, if you add 50 wood that he spent on hunting dogs,
Mhm.
and considering he's got 50 or 60 wood in the bank, it's actually 100 wood. And if you remove the market and the house, I mean, he was chopping for a trading post. That's why he said nice, because like he expected Ottomans to go for the proper trading post, which is usually either this one or that one for the first XP.
Right.
So that's why SoldieR went in the bottom. He wanted to get that one trading post, especially because you build it later, as you have to chop all the wood for it. So so he was just a bit disappointed to see that he could not actually go for a TP there, and that's why he quickly transitioned into a market. he didn't pick up the gold at start, and then he was like, nice, I'm gonna build a market, pick up these gold treasures, and get hunting dogs instead, which surely is not bad. But now that he overchopped 60 wood, his age up is surely gonna be a bit slow.
Yeah, I was taking a look at his XP and how much he had. So if he had actually gone for this trade post, it wouldn't have really affected the first two settler wagons coming out. So I think that was a good choice to build the market and get hunting dogs. But yeah, definitely chopping 60 extra wood. That was really good play by KINGofOsmane. Really, I think that whole scenario was chalked up to KINGofOsmane calculating that and doing a good job. We do see KINGofOsmane taking the treasure off of SoldieR. That's 70 XP. That's 140 XP swing. That's a really nice pickup there.
Yeah, and something else to mention is that KINGofOsmane is now taking the second TP on the border of the map, which means that Germany is going to be forced to take one of the more central trading posts, which obviously is much better for Ottomans, because Ottoman will want to siege down the German trading post at some point. And so now this TP is much more exposed, and he's also going to be the XP now. So I think this is a very good start for KINGofOsmane so far. And yeah, about that market and the trading post at start, the standard thing to do is indeed to go for hunting dogs on the coin start, especially if you get like gold in your base, gold treasures. But I think he wanted a TP precisely because on this map he expects to have to contest the Ottoman stagecoach, and so he wanted to take an early TP despite having a coin start just for that. Oh, that is interesting. Just in time.
Yeah, just in
But
time.
then again, these two TPs are in the worst position compared to that. I mean, that barracks is next to boss TPs, so they will not stay up for too long.
Yeah, for sure. In a previous match, I was explaining how it's really good to have TPs that are out of the way on the side of the map, etc. Because if the opponent's if he gets an army over there, more than like say it's 10 musketeers, gets 10 musketeers over there, then that's going to give you an advantage elsewhere on the map, and you can take an advantage somewhere else. Previous match where we saw this specifically was in Dhaka, and a player took down a TP, used most of his army to do it, but the opponent took out a couple of villagers, a TP, and an outpost in the middle of the map at the same time. So it can make a big difference which TPs you have.
Yeah, especially against Otto, because some siege, like let's say Aztecs, they will just send maybe 5 Pumas to siege down a TP. But Ottos, they have to commit to send Jans, which are more expensive and do less siege. So it's a bit more painful to go siege these outer trading posts. And yeah, we do see an artillery foundry. Which I really like, because I don't know if Osman scouted it, but there's a barracks for SoldieR, and there is absolutely no way you beat Jan Abus with crossbows. So this is a very good adaptation. You can add a stable if they start with a stable, and add Abus if they start with a barracks, and it's exactly what Osman is doing. And in my opinion, it's exactly the right way to play this matchup on this map.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know what point he scouted the barracks, but he does have his native scout there, so he does see the barracks certainly now. And we do see Ottomans doing some Age 2 pressure. Looking at his deck, he has every single food, wood, and coin crate in Age 2. He also has Silk Road. Interesting note. I doubt he's going to send it at this point by any means, but he has, of course, the 5 Janissaries, 3 Hussar. On Germany's deck, he could fit one more card in Age 2 if he decided to, but yeah, you don't want to be stuck in Age 2 as Germany.
Yeah, I guess this is fine. He's got more industrial cards, which I don't think is going to happen either against Otto, but you
Yeah,
know,
I
I
agree.
guess it's okay. That last card in the German deck is kind of a bonus. Like, you don't really need that card usually in
Right.
H2 as German. You kind of have Cav Attack usually, just in case you go late game and you want some unit upgrades. But then again, we all know Cav Attack is not that great because you don't get any Olans from it, any free Olans. So, you know, it's sort of just a late game card.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, Stagecoach came in a little bit late. Maybe Osman felt like he didn't want to give too many free passes of Stagecoach to SoldieR, so he decided instead to add the Foundry earlier and delay the stagecoach. Oh, he made dubs.
I think
That's
the DOPS were
interesting.
just for sieging down the TP, and I think that's a good choice. Opponent has Stagecoach TP. There's 5 TPs on the map. Sieging them down is really, really good in this situation. Just 3 DOPS able to do it really well. Doppelsoldners have really high siege. And he's going to take this XP treasure with him too. That's really nice pickup from him.
Yeah, the thing about dubs is that they're definitely less efficient than pikes at just sieging like that.
Yeah.
They're slower, and so like if you have 5 pikes, you're more mobile to go siege down the TPs, and it's a smaller investment, and they just siege faster. But dubs are better at fighting. So if they like if Otto would add some hustles basically, and they would come to fight, the dubs would do much better than pikes. So maybe that's why. I still feel like I would have rather seen 5 pikes in this situation here, but it's definitely not too bad. But let's look at the state of the game though. Otto is just far behind. I mean, he got only 2 TPs, and Germany is taking 1. So Otto being barely ahead in the stagecoach control. And we see that Germany is going to be up very shortly after Ottomans as well. Ottomans did not add any A-bus. I think that was a mistake. If he just had even 5 A-bus, it's totally enough to deny that crossbow, doppel, whatever pressure in H2 and control the CP line a bit better.
Perhaps, yeah. We do see he went to H3 fairly quickly, somewhat of a semi-FF, and I think Cannons and Janissaries is a pretty good unit composition. Perhaps he was planning that all along. Well played by him. SoldieR just hitting age 3 now. This is where Germany can really contest Ottomans militarily. H2, they have a weaker economy, or weaker military, but H3, Skirmisher War Wagon does pretty well versus Janissaries and Falconets, which are the expected armies from both players. We'll see how they deviate from that, though.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw that, but earlier the 8 crossbows or 10 crossbows was it just came to snipe that Ottoman explorer, and now the Ottoman explorer has been picked off again. And so the thing about this matchup is that you don't have to. I mean, you have to either do some damage in H2, or when you hit Fortress, you need to have a lot of a trading post, but Otto doesn't have any of these. He's taking a good trade now, gonna shoot again, kill 2 dubs. Pretty good trade, but this is also sort of buying time for Germany. Does he already care about a few crossbows and dubs all that much? I think it's fine because now he's gonna counter push the TP, and meanwhile Otto is just wasting his time running around, and the longer this goes on, the better it gets for Germany. Germany is ahead in eco. He's gonna get more units from his shipments. There's no real reason to be Otto here. I really like the German position now.
Yeah, I really, really like the tactical positioning and fighting coming out from SoldieR. His units didn't do a whole lot, or aren't worth a whole lot, as you were saying. Sieges down the TP, forces the opponent to send his army over there, and then just runs away with it. Instead of trying to fight and, gain a little bit of damage back with your units, he just pulls them back. And he may actually see this TC coming up. It's really close.
Oh, I think that one crossbow here.
I think it can be seen now. It's really, really close, though.
At least it's definitely gonna force Ottoman back again, because even if the TC goes up, he's gonna have to come back and just. The Explorer will not go down. That Explorer is 4 HP, but the TP will go down, maybe. And Ottoman has to come back for it, so it's a win again for SoldieR. I think these units have paid off. Not at fighting. These units didn't do a whole lot of fighting, these crossbows, but they're just buying so much time, which is good enough.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
When you are behind militarily, or you're just behind in the game, it's a really, really good move to use your armies and just make your opponents chase you around. If you're raiding and you just have a couple Hussar left that aren't going to do a whole lot, then just running them to the far end of the map, making your opponent chase them with, even 5 Hussar is going to be very effective at giving you advantage elsewhere on the map.
Yeah, it's usually a better use of these weaker and unupgraded units to just buy time with them or raid or something than to actually fight, because like crossbows against vet Jans are really rubbish. I mean, you barely can even hit and run Jans with crossbows, and like you might as well have just skirms basically, and just buy time with these units, and also nice to just get that other TP down right now for SoldieR. I
Yeah.
mean, he's just keeping Ottoman running around, keeping him under pressure constantly, always denying the stagecoach. Ottoman has never had even 4 TPs, I think. He's always had maximum 3. And now Otto is adding A-Bus, which are great, but I'm afraid it's too late. Look at this, Jaegers now, and look at the military population. Germany's just ahead.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty close fight coming up. The Falconets are very strong. Both players could win the fight technically, depending on micro. But yeah, really nice composition out from SoldieR. As we were saying earlier, skirmishers and war wagons, they do fairly well into Janissaries and the Falconets. But the Abus edition, I like the choice of adding the Abus. They're getting upgraded to veteran now. Abus just do pretty well into skirmishers and obviously pretty decent into war wagons also. We do see some raiding going on, a villager going down. The Ulan's just been sitting there waiting for him to send a villager to herd the hunts in, but takes them out. I have been noticing KINGofOsmane's Falconets kind of being away from his army sometimes. We'll see if that comes to bite him, but it's sometimes it's just been lagging behind. He's been focusing on other things. But yeah, it's interesting to see. We see the Minutemen coming out. I think that's for a raid. I don't think he knew that the crossbowmen were still there.
I think he just was. Yeah, the crossbows, they were sieging that TP. If you look
they
at
were.
It. And so yeah, I don't know why they were sieging though, because they can't really do much. But forcing a Minuteman pop with these crossbows is already a small win for Germany here. Just sort of a waste of 300 resources for Ottomans.
Yeah,
Plus,
for sure.
who knows? Maybe they get to fight later at that town center, and maybe Ottoman will not have Minutemen anymore. So yeah, I think SoldieR is doing great at multitasking Ottoman here, abusing his mobility with the Ulans, not even fighting with them. If you look at these Ulans, they're not even upgraded. But he's just raiding again now in the bottom. Gonna kill one more Vil for sure. That Ulan is not veteran, but it's got calf combat.
Yeah.
So it's pretty strong. And yeah, now they might be the first fight. I mean, we haven't seen a fight, right? They're just
no, not really. I mean, just
around.
the crossbow and Dobbs, but that wasn't really a fight. We see that the crossbowman takes out the Minutemen too, without the Minutemen doing anything. And this Ulan, perhaps it's the MVP of the match so far, taking down 4 villagers single-handedly. The one thing that's really important to note is the scout, while it's not doing a whole lot right now, has been keeping a pretty good tabs on where SoldieR's army was and what units he had, while SoldieR is a little bit more blind as to what the opponent's going. So yeah, I really like the scout. When you're not against France, you don't always expect it. You don't always remember it, rather. But yeah, looking good so far. I like the amount of Janissaries out. I think perhaps a few more Abus would be good though. In comparison in his army comp. He knows that the opponent doesn't have too many Ulans. Of course, the opponent can send Ulan shipments, though, so, well, I don't know. I think it's an okay amount, especially with the Falconets there.
Yeah. And he sees that the Ulans are not upgraded, although they are being upgraded now, but that tips him that he's not going to make a lot of Ulans.
Yeah.
So basically, that means Otto can get away with making more Abus guns.
Yeah.
And I think we have Mams. It could have been Jan Combat because he's got a lot of Jans, but Mams is also a good shipment. Although there's so many war wagons, maybe Jan Combat. I think Jan Combat would have been a better decision. Yeah, look at this 23 calf combat war wagons. Surely the Mams are just gonna die.
Yeah, I agree with that. Perhaps they're more for raiding, although they're not necessarily a great unit for raiding.
No, they're not.
Very high HP, fairly low attack. We do see a fight perhaps going to break out soon. I wanted to say real quick, thanks Songyun Duck for the gifted sub to Riot. We do see lots of villagers, settler wagons, and villagers going to be going down here. That is rough.
But a really good split by SoldieR here, just splitting his vills and just sort of like, he's lost only 1 set of wagons so far, or maybe 3 set of wagons, but he could have lost everything. And he's sort of buying more time with these vills here. and meanwhile just taking some free kills. So not too bad for SoldieR, but definitely still a bit better for KINGofOsmane. I mean, he's still getting a good raid. SoldieR might want to just send his Ulans because Calf Combat upgraded Ulans would deal very well with the Mamluks, but actually he's just going to force a fight. Minutemen popping from the TC, 9 Ulans coming in as well. He forgot about 4 Ulans, unfortunately, being idle, but the Mams are not in the fight, and Germany has so much more mass. So, yeah, and these Ulans are going to connect with the Falconets. I think this is a great fight for Germany here.
Yeah, really good fight for Germany. We see that the Ulan's coming from behind. Great military pops, and the Falconets go down. The army is going to go down, it looks like, from KINGofOsmane. Really good surround from SoldieR. This was an excellent positioning for this fight, and I think he's going to take this for sure. I think this is kind of GG, honestly. I don't know what KINGofOsmane can do to come back from this.
It really came down to these builds. I mean, he could have killed all the builds, honestly, if he just paid attention and microed better. SoldieR, look at that. I mean, he's still got, like, I don't know, 8 builds here or something, or, well, maybe a bit less. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, like 7 builds alive, plus some he escaped on top. So he lost maybe 5 builds in that big raid at the coin mine here, but it looked like he could have lost 15 vills there, and he just didn't. And now he's won the fight, so this game is essentially over. There's no way Otto can ever kill this army now. Calf Combat, wagons and Jaegers, and just so much mass.
Yeah, I agree with you. He also lost the barracks, which is going to hurt a little bit. I think he actually took down a decent amount of vills there. Germany has lost 4 village settlers and 3 settler wagons so far, and I'm not sure he has lost any outside of that raid. So it was a decent amount of vills. We see the economies even after that, which is nice for Ottomans, but yeah, militarily, huge advantage for SoldieR. I think perhaps Osmane shouldn't have tried to take that fight there. I think he was thinking he had a better military better military at the moment, but the pops from SoldieR, it done really well, and the Abyss going on to the Ulans. This is gonna be rough.
Oh, that's unfortunate. But the thing is, the vills, they were split from the army of SoldieR, so Osman could have just gone for the vills, completely killed them all instead of trying to fight. Indeed, and that cost him the game. Really, he could have won. Also, not having Jan Combat was a bit of a problem there, and yeah, GG.
Yeah, well played.
Well played by SoldieR already. In my opinion, the most how should I say, representative thing of the game is the fact that if you look at the post-game stats and you go to trading posts,
okay,
you can see how Otto constantly lost his trading post and never. Well, he had 4 TPs at some point for a couple minutes, but nowhere near the control of the TP line you would expect from Ottomans. He was usually swinging between 2 and 3 TPs, which is not enough. And yeah, that is probably the main reason why he lost this game. He just got run around, also lost some vills. He did kill vills at the end, but also keep in mind Otto got constantly raided the whole game. So yeah, pretty well played by SoldieR already.
Yeah, very well played by SoldieR. We see that the game was pretty close. Economy being auto economy, as 2 TCs, and Germany having a decent economy due to the settler wagon shipments. It was fairly close throughout the game in all reality, but we see that the tactical positioning from SoldieR just was much better in this game. We see the crossbow and the dots doing a whole lot actually, without
way too much.
Yeah,
way too much.
And we see his villagers even doing a whole lot, perhaps allowing him to win that the big fight just with the tactical positioning of the aftermath of the raiding of those villas. We'll take a look at the villager population, military population for you guys, and resources gathered. Resources gathered was fairly even throughout the whole game, actually, not as one-sided as it probably should be for Germany.
Yeah.
Alright, so good game. That is game number 1 between SoldieR and KINGofOsmane. If that is a representation of what the rest of these games are going to be like, I'm super excited. This is going to be a very good match. The second map is going to be Daka.
Daka. Yeah, and that is a bit of a problem for Usman because, well, like I said, Ottoman is one of his best civs, and he's
Uh-huh.
just lost with it, and now he can't play on Daka, which is a great Ottoman map. So that is a bit of a problem for him. Then again, Germany is probably SoldieR's main civ, so losing to SoldieR's Germany is not too bad for Usman. Kind of maybe expected he could lose to that civ, since SoldieR is well, he just plays a lot of Germany.
He does.
And who play? Now it's what's challenges? Who is that? That's SoldieR. SoldieR has to pick first now.
Yeah, SoldieR. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, Ottoman, pretty good on this map. There are other civilizations that can do really well. One thing that is really interesting to note is if you play Japan on this map specifically, you don't spawn with any berry bushes by your TC. I don't know if it was intentional or bug, but I loaded it up several times and that's what happened every time. So if you did spawn with berry bushes next to your TC, this would be an excellent map for Japan, but as it is without the extra berry bushes, despite there being Bhakti on this map, it's not actually a super great map for Japan, I don't think, because of that.
And what do you know how many berries usually spawn?
It's like 8 berries, it's quite a bit.
Well, they could have just
I loaded it several different times.
yeah.
Perhaps it could
I
have.
see why. I can see why Japan is. I think it's hard coded to have either 1 or 2 cherry orchards.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if you can set it to have no cherry orchards at start. Because if you would give them 1 cherry orchard plus 8 berries, it's really a lot. It's
Yeah.
really OP for Japan. So maybe they decided instead of giving no cherry orchard at all, which is maybe not possible, I guess they removed the berries. But yeah, it's weird. But there has to be a reason behind it. I don't think it's a bug.
I don't think it's a bug. I think it was intentional with the Bhakti and the ability to have 40% faster gathering from berry bushes. I think it's a smart move. Otherwise, I feel like Japan would just be so strong on this map. Gathering 40% faster for only 100 wood, 100 coin. Of course, you have to build a TP, so you could say it's 300 wood, 100 coin. But it could be huge buff early on for Japan. We see SoldieR picking British for this map. Well, I very rarely think of British as a bad civilization or a bad pick on maps, but it's not a civilization that we usually see on this map due to it just other civilizations being pretty good, like FF civilizations, water civilizations.
Yeah.
British can do water, of course.
I think I see where SoldieR's coming from. I think the British pick is to prevent Usman from going Ports or Spain, because Ports and Spain are pretty strong pick on this map.
Mm-hmm.
And Brits do beat them quite hard, especially Spain. Brits have a sort of easy time beating these. So it could be a preemptive, like sort of like a mind game counter play. I don't know how you call that, but the biggest problem of going Brits on this map would be against Otto, because Otto is so good and it does well against Brits. So now Osman, I guess he can go Russia against Brits, but yeah, and he's gonna go Russia. But I don't see what else he could actually pick against Brits besides Russia. Like Ports would be bad, Spain would be bad. Any other civ like France or Germany would not be too good. So I guess that's why SoldieR decided to do this. But now Russia is good against Brits, and this map also doesn't have all that many hunts in your base. And the blockhouse is nice to control the pond. So it's still tough for Brits here, I think.
Yeah, there are lots of hunts behind your base, and it's somewhat easy to keep them safe. Something, just a little bit of a tangent, since SoldieR said he had to go to the bathroom real quick. I'm curious what you think of Sioux on this map, because with their food ups, it actually makes them super strong on the berry bushes.
Yeah, you could ship that great hunter grade or something,
Mm-hmm.
and get the Bhakti and build like 1 TP, and then you have an insane berry gathering rate. But the problem is that well, I mean, it's strong, but hunts are also like really strong, right?
Right,
Like
right.
regardless of how many upgrades you get on berries, maybe berries get slightly better than hunts, but not a whole lot.
Yeah,
And the other problem is that the pond, like controlling the pond as Sue is not easy. You don't have
that's true.
any good warship shipments, and or any artillery. So and also the map is really not open. It's not so easy to raid. While it's easy to rush, there's a small rush distance, which is not so good for Sue.
Yeah.
So I think Sue would not be terrible, but it's definitely not a top tournament pick, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with
Um,
you. I was just
and
curious
just
with your.
one more thing I wanted to point out about it's true that these back hunts are sort of easy to defend because of the layout of the map, but
Hmm.
not if Russia decides to wall the choke and then drop his blockhouse on top, like
Yeah.
on the other side of the pond. Then he's got an easy way to pressure these back hunts. So we'll have to see if Osman does this.
Yeah. All right. We are going into game number 2. This is between SoldieR and KINGofOsmane in week number 5. This is Jailed casting along with Kaiser Klein co-casting. This is an interesting matchup. Russia versus Brits. Russia has the potential and the ability to put pressure early, but I think you really have to put pressure early, especially versus Brits, who has the ability to boom fairly hard with the manners early. We've got to see early pressure out from Russia. I don't think there's any other way to play this, is there?
Yeah, it's probably gonna be just a pressure into a contain very standard Russian play. Just try to do some damage or at least force a reaction early, and then contain until opponent has no resources and has to push out into your blockhouses. That is probably just what we're gonna see. But then we'll have to see because SoldieR is not the most standard player, and depending on how he plays it, it might be a funky game. So we'll see.
Yeah, it could be funky. One thing that is worth pointing out is that the C is a possibility. Not an expected. I don't think it's expected in this matchup. Brits has a decent C. Russia can actually somewhat boom a little bit on C, so it's a possibility. I don't expect it, like I was saying, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see what the players do. This map has so many different possibilities, from the going C, from taking control of the lake with warships, to all your back hunts and mines, more or less. You can boom fairly easily. You can FF. You can go C. There's also the berry bushes and the Bhakti. There's also the TP line. Lots of different elements on this map. It's a very, very interesting map. Lots of different build orders available. We'll see what the players go with.
Yeah, the TP line is actually very important in this matchup. Russia is usually able to control it. They need to be careful. You can't be Russia and just like, hey, I'm gonna stagecoach directly, and then Brits just shows up with like Musk Huss and totally nukes your front base and nukes your TP line. So, but it is an option. Russia is able to control stagecoach at some point, usually in this kind of matchup. So it could be big. I also don't expect SoldieR to go for water straight off the bat, but I know how SoldieR likes to play, and sometimes he likes to add water. So like just open standard and then add water later at 10 minutes or something, or 12. We have to. I need to check his deck. Let's see.
Yeah, look.
He doesn't have any schooners or anything, so probably not.
Yeah, we do see 2 caravels and 1 frigate out from SoldieR's deck. On the other hand, KINGofOsmane does have schooners. He also has 2 caravels. That's it for That's it for sea or water-related decks. One thing I do expect on this map is Blockhouse by the TPs over here. That's going to help control the lake a little bit and just give a little bit of an advantage. Blockhouse, obviously you can train units from it, but it also is a defensive building and does pretty well versus ships. So
yeah, it does extremely well against warships.
yes,
Towers overall do a lot of damage, and
yeah.
as much as they might not be able on their might not be enough on their own. Like one blockhouse probably just dies to 2 caravels, but they may be enough to swing the fight in your favor if you get caravels yourself, which is very important. Or if you build 2 blockhouses, then it's enough to defend from pretty much water pressure. One thing to note, though, is that Russia does not have a frigate in deck,
Yeah, he does not have a
which
frigate.
is questionable. But yeah, Brit's gonna wall up. I think that's pretty. That was to be expected
Yeah.
against Russia. But I think also Russia knows about it and he doesn't care. He's just gonna go on top here. He's sending 3 vills and
He's sending
yeah.
the vills beyond the trade post, though. I think he's going to build the blockhouse very aggressively. This is an interesting choice, and I think a good choice. As Russia, you definitely want to put some pressure. I would have liked to see the blockhouse closer to the lake, but, you know, it's still going to be okay. One thing, like yours, go ahead.
I think he's maybe afraid. Like this is tournament, right? And
Right.
we have seen 2 Caravels first card working out wonders. Sometimes, like let's say he would just build his blockhouse here, only 1 blockhouse, and SoldieR would just go for a cheeky Caravel shipment first and just get it down, and then it's kind of GG, you know. And it just sucks for Russia. So I guess he was just like, let's drop that blockhouse a little bit further away from the pond. And maybe who knows, later I will add a second blockhouse right by the pond. But I kind of understand why he would not build the first one right next. You know, it's a bit risky.
Yeah, in the midst of that, we do see that the villager that was out to herd the hunt from SoldieR was brought back because he saw the blockhouse going up. So he sees the blockhouse going up, he herds a little bit, and then pulls the villager back. We do see KINGofOsmane herding the hunt back, though, so even less starting hunts from SoldieR. I think that's a really, really good choice.
Yeah, SoldieR might have wanted to herd that a little bit earlier. It was not that far from his base, but now Osman going for the lame, just taking that hunt back to his blockhouse. So yeah, that's unfortunate for SoldieR for sure. And as a result, he just doesn't have a ton of hunts because he didn't take that hunt. So yeah, it's a bit sad.
One thing we also see from that blockhouse positioning is we don't see the tower from SoldieR up on the lake either. It's more defensive. So perhaps that actually definitely paid off building that blockhouse. I mean, at least forward. I think it's going to definitely pay off. The Cossack coming in for raids, not going to find anything. 3 Hussar out for SoldieR. 2 Cossack actually going down amidst all of that, the fighting from the defensive buildings. And it looks like we're going to have a tad bit.
What is SoldieR doing? I think he just forgot about his Hussars. Yeah, that is not too good for SoldieR. You can't really afford to lose units against Russia like that.
Yeah.
He might even have to call Minutemen to save his barracks. But it looks like Osman is going to pull back, fortunately for SoldieR. So not the end of the world. Still losing a couple Hussars for free, but not too bad.
Yeah, we do see a TP gone up here by KINGofOsmane.
Yeah.
Safest TP possible. That's a good choice. Additionally, looking around the map and units in queue and everything, this is it looks like it's muskets coming out from Russia and muskets Hussar from SoldieR. I think that's a good choice from SoldieR for sure, and also from KINGofOsmane in all reality. One thing to note: when you're versing Russia, their only anti-cav unit in Age 2 is the Rusket, rather low HP, low attack unit. They're worse than even normal muskets. Of course, they're a little bit cheaper, but I don't think that quite makes up for their cost.
They're actually more cost efficient against other musketeers, or just overall they're actually more cost efficient. Like you can simulate it if you take an equal amount of Russian musketeers and normal musketeers. I don't mean equal, but equal in terms of investment. The Ruskets actually win. However, the problem is that it's sort of unlucky that they. A Hussar does exactly 24 damage against a Russian musketeers, and that's if you do it 5 times 24, it actually kills a Rusket. So basically, there is no overkill at all from the Hussars. So this is why Ruskets don't perform very well against Hussars.
Yeah.
Basically, that's the reason. They die in 5 hits, while the normal musketeer dies in 7 hits. So it's a big difference. It's more than the HP difference. So that is kind of why. We do see Brits probably not gonna push out. He can't really break this double blockhouse placement, but just poking a bit.
Yeah,
Um,
I would have liked to seen the second blockhouse closer to the lake and have the ability to send two caravels, protecting them additionally if you needed to. Blockhouse has really long range versus ships, 40 range versus ships. So one blockhouse on that lake could actually basically defend the whole lake. But that's what he goes for. We'll see what happens here. I like the position from Russia quite a bit. It's 28 villager population, 28 versus 32. So, despite British having the ability to build lots or boom a little bit more, with the trade post, it's pretty much even economically, and also the militarily significantly in favor for Osmane right now. Of course, it is a little bit less pop efficient army, but
yeah.
I mean, with the Cossacks, maybe it's about the same in all reality, but it's this is going to be close. I like the position from Russia so far. He's played it well so far.
Yeah, I don't really like the British position. I agree. I mean, if you look at his build order, it's kind of peculiar. 700 wood, 700 gold, 600 gold. So this has to be a sort of timing now. I mean, he wants to mass from these coin crates, and now he's going to be out of food. You can see he switched to berries and eating yaks because of that hunt that Osman backherded. So basically, it means that, yeah, birds have to go now. He's shipped some crates to mass units. He's got no hunts. He's gonna push. So he's going to break that wall, try to maybe sort of base rate somehow. And yeah, here's the timing. He's got the 6 musketeer shipment in. So I don't know. I know what SoldieR is doing. I think he's pretty smart. He's forcing Russia to push.
Yeah.
Russia doesn't need to push, right? He doesn't have to
Oh.
push because he can just wait for Brits to have no resources. But if he doesn't push, then Brits is gonna base trade. I mean, he's gonna push here. So SoldieR was pushing to force Russia to come out of his front base because you don't want to push Russia into double blockhouse. So that, I think, that is the rationale behind SoldieR doing this. He's baited. Look at this. He's baited Russia to come out. He had to come out to not get nuked in his base, and now SoldieR is forcing a fight. But
Yeah.
he's got so many musks here. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, he was wanting to raid, I guess, with them at the same time, which is okay. But I really like the position from SoldieR. Really, this army is really close.
Yeah.
There is a few strelets, and yeah, his micro is very good here. The Hussar definitely tanking up some damage, and the Cossacks going down really fast to the muskets. This is going to be really close. I like the position from British quite a bit. Stronger muskets, stronger Hussar, if you will. But yeah, definitely losing this fight on Russia's side.
He just needed Minutemen, though. I don't know why he didn't call Minutemen, because that would have been game winning here, honestly. Like, literally game winning. That fight is sort of close. Like, he can't go in because he doesn't have enough remaining Hussars to snare that many Russian musketeers. So what he needed was the Minutemen as well, and then he would have taken a great trade. But he's still killing some bills, so yeah.
Yeah, he killed the Minutemen that were popped from Osmane's TC, and he also picked off a villager or two. Looking good from him. This is a really close game. Economies are very close. The military is actually very close, especially with a few muskets being in Osmane's base. Addition of the longbows, I like that having a few. You don't want to go too heavy into longbows, but I like having a few for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Just for the range advantage, just able to pick some free kills. He's made another batch of them. He probably wants to stop now. That's probably just enough longbows. With good micro, you can snipe a lot of units with these. Don't really want more, because then you might just die to Musketeer and Cossack. But yeah, I don't know. This is a pretty close game, because if you look at the eco, even after raiding, SoldieR is not that much ahead. He doesn't have all that many manors. He never shipped 5 vills. He's not going to ship 5 vills now because he doesn't have resources, so it makes the sense to get more eco. So, you know, just not a great eco. No hunts for SoldieR. He's got these berries, but
We
no
do see
upgrade
just a
in there.
couple muskets. They idled KingofOsmane's several of his villagers for a while, and they're also not on any of the hunts there. So kind of rough from him. Those just couple muskets have done a whole lot so far.
Yeah.
You say Soldier's economy is worse, so is Osmane's. This is a very, very close game in all reality. Economies are very comparable, military is very comparable. We do see the army from Russia coming back, all the muskets and strelets coming back. This
That
is
is
gonna...
weird. Yeah, that's not good. I guess he wants to just make sure he can rebuild that wall and be in peace. So he's just gonna bring back his army, but that could be just enough time for SoldieR to break. He's pushing now. No, he's not pushing. Maybe he's gonna instantly go and break the blockhouses if he. But yeah, just one thing about the eco. Yeah, of course, Brits is still ahead in eco compared to Russia. But it's kind of a weird thing about Russia is that if they have in this matchup, if Russia has the same eco as Brits, they somehow are ahead. Like I don't know how to explain it, but you don't even have to have more views than Brits. You can still pump out so many units as Russia, so many cost-efficient units, and
For sure. The economy from British is expected to be better than Russia. So if it's really close, that is really good for Russia. Russia, like you're saying, has really cheap units. And it allows them to do a lot more with less resources. British, on the other hand, their units have a normal cost. They have a better economy generally, but if their economy is very comparable to the Russia, you could say that they're behind for sure.
Yeah, right. But beyond the economy, like we said, the real problem is the natural resources. He does not have the back upgrade, so these berries are just shit. I mean,
yeah, they're terrible.
Like, it feels really bad to gather that, like, but he doesn't have hunts anymore.
They gather at a rate of 0.5. Hunts gather at a base rate of 0.84. So yeah, a lot better. I like the position from Russia a lot more now. Just all the natural resources that have been denied from SoldieR. For that reason, we see that SoldieR. I think he had an opportunity to punish the army being out of position. He could have actually taken out the blockhouses, I think, and if he had actually gone up there, or KingofOsmane had sieged this wall, SoldieR would have had a really good opportunity to do something, but SoldieR doesn't take advantage of it, and I think he's behind now.
Yeah, it was extremely close. I don't know if we realize how close it was, but basically, just like he sent so many musketeers to raid. If SoldieR just kept, like, imagine he just sent 5 musks and had 5 more in his army and called Minutemen. It could have been GG when these Russian units were here. He could have crushed and then snowball it into a win by just breaking the blockhouses and then GG basically. But just sent a few too many musketeers to raid and didn't call Minutemen, and now all of a sudden, in fact, Russia is in a fine spot. The game is still close, but could have been so much better for Brits.
Yeah, there was opportunity for both players. Yeah, we see the water 2 caravels shipped. Nicely done from Osmane, recognizing that is SoldieR's only opportunity to come back into this game, really, I think. It'll also give some more natural resources that are available to him. I like the longbow addition. One thing that we didn't touch on, longbow are less food. They take less food than muskets.
Yeah.
They're more efficient when it comes to food specifically. Obviously cost 40 wood, 25 coin for the musketeers, so you could argue that they're even more expensive than muskets in reality, but they don't cost as much food. So I think that's a good choice. Berry bushes actually gather at the same base rate of trees, so that tells you how bad the berry bushes actually are.
It's a bit more. Berry bushes is 0.67 and a tree is 0.5. But yeah, it's not a very high base rate for sure. One veil gonna go down. That has a lot of Cossacks and with boyars as well. No upgrade in for Brits. He decided to ship 5 veils, but again, I don't know how good 5 veils is when you already have 65 of them and you don't have any hunts. So I feel like maybe Cav HP. I mean, look at this mass of hustles. Cav HP would have surely been better here than 5 veils, because now he's gonna force a fight. Look, Russia is gonna get trapped between the walls, and
this is a big fight here.
If he had Cav HP in that fight, man, it would be so much better. But let's see what SoldieR can do. that's a good position for the Musketeers of SoldieR, just doing a lot of damage to the Cossacks. The Hussars also in a good spot, taking on the Cossacks and the Streetlets. Still a lot of longbows in the back. I think this is a good fight for Brits. I think he's gonna clean this up. I don't know if it's enough to win the game, but
I don't know. More muskets coming in. Military
Maybe
population 65 to 36 right now. I like
actually not.
I like Russia's position a lot here. It is really, really close. Yeah, looking rough for SoldieR, and with the caravels pressuring the fishing boats at the same time. I like this out a whole lot from Osmane. The villagers coming up forward, they're not even taking damage. They're actually just firing. I think SoldieR knows that this is his last stand for sure.
Yeah, this is actually the end of NWC in the EPL. I mean, SoldieR has lost now, and NWC is qualified. So must feel pretty good for Osman. But yeah, that was a good effort by SoldieR, but yeah, a couple of mistakes. Even now, he still did not call Minutemen. He could have still called them now at least, but he never called Minutemen this game.
Yeah, that's an interesting choice. Minutemen definitely more effective than villagers at fighting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this will probably be GG. He's building a market now? What?
He needs to trade resources for something, I guess.
Maybe for Minutemen?
Yeah, I think they're on the way now. He's gonna call Minutemen, but it's too late. And now he's getting an upgrade in Musk Attack after he's lost his entire army. Like, already, I think Minutemen and Cav HP instead of 5 years, and he might have won that fight again. Like, it's the second time, in my opinion, that Brits lost the fight he might have been able to win. So, a bit unfortunate for SoldieR here, but can't blame him too much. It's not easy to beat Russia, especially in this matchup. So, you know, you have to play really sharp if you want to beat Russia. So I don't see SoldieR holding that.
The army from Russia is still fairly low. I think he's gonna be able to take it, but it's closer than I expected it to be at this point.
5 more Cossacks.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of shit for Russia. I mean, this TC is about to get right-clicked, and I don't know what SoldieR does from there. He doesn't have Colonial Militia in deck either.
He does have the caravels.
Yeah, which is gonna help him defend. But you know, if he had Colonial Militia and could pop all the Minutemen and clean up now, I would say okay, maybe he's got a chance. But he does not, and he's gonna keep poking with longbows next to the water, so they're pretty safe. But I think Osman decided that he just doesn't care, and he's just gonna right-click the TC, and tough, very tough for Brits here.
Yeah, SoldieR had some opportunities in that match. Obviously, as a caster, we have the eagle eye vision of both players, so it can be pretty hard. TC goes down though, not villagers behind it, not too many. We'll look at the units lost. It has been 22 villagers actually for SoldieR, so we see Russia ahead. I don't see any way back from him. He does have a water presence, so theoretically if he was able to hold on for like 10 more minutes, he could be back into the game, but I'm pretty sure Osman's not going to let that happen.
Yeah, also Osman got a foot in the water, he's got a dock. He can build more caravels if SoldieR doesn't resign. He can just push the water. And so many villas going down now, and SoldieR is still putting on a fight. I mean, it's the most important game for his team, so he's trying not to lose it, but I'm afraid this is the end of it.
Yeah, I agree. Fighting with your villagers can sometimes give you a little bit of an advantage if you are able to clean up a military fight decisively, then it can be good. But yeah, he calls it GG. Well played. And we're gonna get into game shortly, into game number 3 shortly. By the way, just want to mention, you're completely right. It is 0.67 gather rate for the berry bushes. I was wrong on that. So yeah, it's decent. But yeah, Hunt's just so much better. 0.84 to 0.67. That's a big difference.
Yeah, Hunt's just the base rate is better, but also the fact that you have market upgrades for them, and you just don't for berries. And if you compare steel traps, Hunts, and berries, it's not quite twice the gather rate, but not far from it. It's 1.1 with steel traps to 0.67 for berries. So it's just so much more. You do have walking time, though. We need to keep in mind berries. Your villains aren't walking around; they're just gathering berries. So but yeah, it's just awkward. Being on berries is never what you really want, unless you're Japan, I guess. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Looking at some of the post-game stats, one thing to point out is how close that game actually was. We see SoldieR with 2,528 combat XP, KINGofOsmane with 2,504. That is only a 24 difference. So really close game. Good fighting from both of them. I think SoldieR definitely had some opportunities that game, but KINGofOsmane playing it really well, honestly. As Russia versus Brits, you have to the pressure's on you to make things happen, and he did make things happen. He did just the right amount of pressure that SoldieR was not ahead economically, basically, and he added just the right amount of trade posts, kept up his economy just the right amount so that he had the advantage, balancing his economy versus military, putting the right amount of pressure on the opponent. That was a really good game from both players. It is 1 apiece, and we'll get into game number 3 shortly. Anything else you wanted to point out about that game?
No, I mean, I think we've said it all. Just Russia eventually being Russia, and if you can't break the blockhouses early enough, you just end up losing at some point. And it also really came down to that hunt being denied early on by Russia, just backherding it, and it just hurt SoldieR so much. And yeah, like we said, a couple opportunities to really crush a fight. SoldieR was not able to fully take them. He got some decent trades, but not enough to really crush Russia. And you really have to crush a fight against Russia. You can't trade. If you just trade, eventually you lose. He had to really crush it, snowball it, push the blockhouses, and something like that. Can't just keep trading. And yeah, unfortunately, then for SoldieR, he just lost at some point. Apparently, you have to. I don't know if you've seen that, but you have to remove the
Yeah,
logo.
I saw it. I
right.
saw it too late. Thanks for the subscription to ESOC blank. It doesn't show the name. Apparently, it's. I think it's actually blank. Yeah, my apologies on the logo. I thought I had it set up, and we didn't see it in Discord until after the game. But that brings us to game number 3. It is on Kamchatka. Letting the players know that, and it is Osmane to pick first. Is that correct? Yeah, it is. It's Osmane to pick first.
Yeah. No big deal about the logo. I don't think anyone cares too much. Yeah, Kamchatka, pretty standard map. Osman picking first. He might just. I don't know if he will go Japan, because Japan can get counterpick pretty hard by Aztecs or Russia, but it's also a pretty good Japan map. So I don't know. He might just go France. Osman is also a French player. Again, back then on Vanilla, he used to play autos mostly, but also France. And more recently on T80, he's been blaming Japs all day. So I think the 3 main civs of Osman would be Japan, France, and Ottomans. So he might just go for French here, first pick. I mean, it's such a standard and solid pick on Kamchatka. But he goes for the Japan, which is the other possibility. But then again, yeah, SoldieR, he can play Russia, he can play Aztecs. These are tough for Japan to deal with.
We see that the players are guessing what the opponent's going to go before they actually even pick it. We see SoldieR says, KINGofOsmane goes, guess what civ I'm going to go, and SoldieR says J for Japan. KINGofOsmane goes, yep, you guessed right, and SoldieR says, guess me, and he goes, Iroquois, no. Aztec, I think Aztec is a good option here for sure. We see Soldier's Aztec is very, very good. He's very good with the 2-war hut unit spam very early. And so we'll see what he does with it. Kamchatka Summer, interesting map. It allows for what we often see on this map is something like an FF. You have a decent amount of safe hunts. Some different crossings are wallable. You can't wall the trade trade route crossing though. So very interesting from them. Songyan Duck saying, "Let's go, Mido. Let's go." With a $100 donation, man. Thanks for the $100,
nice.
man. That's amazing. I appreciate you a whole lot. Thank you for your support of Age of Empires 3 and ESOC. We appreciate you a lot, dude.
Yeah, thanks a lot for that. And yeah, it's true there's a lot of chokes to roll on this map, and especially because now it has to be the summer version. The winter version is more open. You have some ice instead of water, so it's much harder to just roll up and turtle. And we know Osman playing Japan. He's not the kind of guy who like ships 5 ashes and rushes you or anything. He's more the kind of guy who plays it old school Japan, 3 layers of wall, only Yumis, go industrial, or something like that. So he sure is gonna enjoy the fact that he can roll up pretty easily on this map.
All right.
Oh, he did. Yeah, he did.
Yeah. No, they're talking about a separate game. It appears that SoldieR had blind picked when he. Yeah. All good.
Yes.
All right, so we're going to get into this game shortly. I expect Japan to have to get some units out, or at least scout what Aztec are doing early. There is the ability to wall some, but as you may be aware already, or not you, but the viewers be aware already, the walls on EP have half as much HP early on before they're upgraded as they do on RE, the regular patch, if you will, or regular game. So on EP, much less HP on the walls. They melt super fast, and with Aztec having potentially Pumas in their army, they're going to melt even faster. So yeah, gonna be interesting what the players go with. Let's make sure the map's fair real quick for them.
Oh yeah, Kamchatka is always fair. Literally, I think it's hard coded to spawn like that. Always 3 hunts. Boss players have 3 hunts, 2 coin mines, always like that. So pretty good.
Yeah, one thing that's really interesting to note is Japan kind of starts with 3 scouts, having both of the explorers, and then you have 2 cherry orchard rickshaws. One of them can go scout a little bit.
Even 4 on this map.
Oh yeah, because of the pet. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
But he also does. I mean, Aztecs also does get the
treasure
what is
guardians.
going on? He just backherded that. I don't know why, but he just went to backherd his second hunt instead of herding his first hunt, like the Gaia goats, as we like to call them, the bighorn sheep. Apparently, looks like they're not goats, but they're Gaia goats anyway. And so yeah, maybe not the greatest start for Aztecs. Also here you can see some of these villas are a bit far away from the TC. Always a little bit hard to herd that first hunt on this map.
Yeah, and it's a little bit annoying. Go ahead.
That's not a problem for Japan. It's also one of the reasons why Japan is nice here. You don't have to herd the goats, so that's good.
Yeah, Japan pretty strong. One thing that's also annoying about herding the goats is that it's just a hunt of 3. So you herd one, and it's just like, okay, you've already killed one. You herd another one, and it's just one bighorn sheep that you basically herded. So
yeah, and they don't go, like, how should I say, the way they run away from you when you shoot at them is not predictable. Sometimes they sort of just don't go where they should because it's such a small hunt. I don't know exactly how it works in terms of like direction, but I know that when you have only 3, it doesn't work. So you herd them, and then they just do whatever they want, and they don't really go where they should. But yeah, nice 80 wood. Sorry for. KINGofOsmane here, definitely nice for Japan.
Yeah.
He already spent that wood? He's building a TP.
Oh, interesting, building a TP. We see that he got some really good wood treasures age 1 so far, 40 wood and 80 wood. SoldieR picking up 80 food, 45 food. So Soldier's going to age a lot faster, but Osmane going to have a stronger economy through all of this. So that's going to be nice for both players in all reality. Perhaps a little bit more concerning for Osmane with a potential faster rush coming from from Aztec. We'll take a look at the decks real quick for you guys. We see, looks like lots of early aggression from SoldieR, having 5 military shipments in Age 2.
That Explorer is dead. 90 XP for the Aztec player. Dead Explorer. Oh man, that is huge. And SoldieR also getting the treasure. That is not what Osman wanted.
That's an additional 75 food for him. This Age 1 has gone really, really well for him. It is 75 food, 40 food, and 80 food. That is a total of 195 food in Age 1. That's pretty insane. All right.
And but meanwhile, Japan did get 120 wood worth of treasures, and that is why he got to build a trading post. Because, well, you start with 200 wood, you spend 120 on a shrine, and he just got that 120 back. So he was back to 200 wood, and he could just build a TP. And he's not going for it. But I was like, okay, you know, Osman, he's pretty greedy. He likes to defend, like, and just turtle as Japan. I could have seen him ship Colonial Militia, second card, because he's got a TP. But it looks like he's not doing that. And he shipped 2 vills. I think I've never seen Osman in my life ship something else than Kami, but looks like he decided to just change his playstyle and maybe surprise SoldieR a bit. He's going to wall up, but not going to go as greedy as usual with the Heavenly Kami.
Yeah, 2 vills is interesting. In Age 1, there's a few different options that Japan has. They can go 300 wood, they can go Heavenly Kami, they can go 2 vills. There's other options too, but those are the more prominent ones. Perhaps 3 fishing boats is really common on water, but obviously not a water map. 2 vills, interesting choice. We see Heavenly Kami as probably the ideal shipment when booming. While 300 wood is a little bit more trying to deal with pressure. What does 2 vills tell you? What do you think of 2 vills? Is it kind of a happy medium between the two, or what?
I think it's just kind of bad. I think 300 wood is just superior most of the time for several reasons. I mean, first, you get XP from building stuff from 300 wood, and then your vills. I mean, if you ship 2 vills, you're gonna use your cherry orchards faster, and well, it's not a big difference for sure. But maybe 300 wood is slightly superior, but it's not a very big difference. But what it tells me though is that Osman was. I mean, he hasn't built a single shrine while aging. He just built a consulate and some walls, because these walls are worth maybe 1 or 2 shrines worth of wood.
And he opens up with the market and consulate in Age 2. This is curious for sure. We also see SoldieR aging up. He just aged up. I think it was age up fast. He just got the War Hut out. So it's not the 2 War Hut aggression that you would kind of expect. He does have some Pumas and Maces out. He is sieging down the TP. Nice pickup from him. He does have some of Japan has some of the Shinobi out. Gonna try to deal with that. Yeah, interesting gameplay. We already see full walls out from Osmane, so we'll see some true Japan cheese here, it looks like.
Definitely not what I would have expected from Osman here, but pretty interesting. I do like that Aztecs went for a fast age. I think going slow age against Japan just plays into their hand. I think a second War Hut, because he went for 7 and 600 wood. He's taking not very good trades here against the Shinobis. Shinobis are so strong. They got nerfed, but they're still like really strong. But SoldieR is trying to force it, trying to keep fighting here because he wants to get the TP down. Because I reckon he's got Stagecoach on the way, or at least wants to get it. But that TP is gonna stay up, so that could be a problem for SoldieR here.
Yeah, he does have a bunch of mace coming in. So, but his Puma looks like they may go down. No. Yeah, the TP is going to go down, I think. Looking good from him. The walls are very interesting out from Osmane. With all the different terrain that he can wall to, I think he could have used the same amount of wood and walled a less amount. But one thing to note is these walls do kind of allow his TC to defend them a little bit better. He does, taking a look at his deck real quick, he does have Enlist Irregulars, the card that enables the TC to do more damage.
Yeah.
So that's nice. We'll see what happens here, though. Osmane.
Oh. Another layer of walls going down. Just
Yeah.
standard King of Osmane gameplay. He's gonna lose his first layer though. I don't think the second layer is gonna go up.
No, not very much
but
of it, at least. Go
There
ahead.
aren't any. Well, there are actually a couple coyotes, but not a real coyote mass, and that means Yumis are. Well, there's the high HP Explorer coming forward, so he's gonna be able to snare the Yumis. But yeah, Minutemen being cold, SoldieR is gonna have to pull back. So what did he really achieve here? He forced Minutemen, idled a bit, but he's also gonna lose his Explorer, and Japan is just buying time. One bill gonna go down though, which is nice. I don't know if it's enough for Aztecs though. I mean, just Japan. You know, if you let Japan beat Japan, it starts to suck for you. You have to do something before Japan gets out of control. But now he's coming back in with more coyotes, and actually these Yumis are probably gonna go down. And the fact that he already called the anti-cap Minutemen is maybe a mistake. He might have wanted to get them out now.
Yeah, this is interesting for sure. One thing to note is he is walling behind, perhaps going to be able to trap this army.
Ooh.
That would be a nice addition. No reinforcements. He does not. SoldieR is paying attention to that. It looks like the army from Aztecs is going to be cleaned up. But one thing really important to note on the back end of this, Osmane has not been shrine booming out on the map. He has no shrines outside of his starting base.
Oh, but wait. But Daimyo coming out. Yeah, I know. Yeah, he hasn't been shrining at all. But Daimyo coming out, couple clubs from the consulate. It's barely just not enough. That Daimyo is not gonna kill all these coyotes. He's gonna lose the Daimyo. This is not good for Osman, and I don't know what the Daimyo is doing, but it looks very weird. So it's dead, and this is kind of GG, isn't it? I mean, what does Japan do
so.
here?
Technically, there's an economic lead for Osmane. I think he should have probably shipped Enlist Irregulars right there. So he is able to defend just because of the TC fire, but he's pretty far behind now. Economically, technically, he's still ahead. But he has absolutely no map control, no shrines out on the map. One of his explorers are even dead entirely. I like the position from Aztecs here a lot, for sure.
Yeah, and also Japan losing more vills now. I don't know why he's not putting them back in. He's lost 3 vills under his TC, and yeah, he's gonna resign. Also, he was idled so much. Like, it doesn't even matter how many vills he's got if he can't actually gather with them.
Yeah, that's a great point.
So, pretty good. Yeah, pretty good play by SoldieR. Definitely just winning this game pretty fast. I mean, 10 minutes exactly. Pretty short game. Maybe a little bit greedy by Osman to go for, like, he went for the greediest Japan build with 600 wood, 4 vills. He did not grade in H1, like, he didn't build shrines out, he didn't ship Kami or anything, but he still, like, shipped 4 vills twice. And if even one of these shipments would have been, I don't know, 5 Ashes or 5 Yumis or just anything less greedy than 4 vills, he might have been able to defend. But yeah, a little bit too greedy here.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I agree. He could have gone.
It's a stacks. Yeah.
It is Aztecs, that's true. He could have gone with Enlist Irregulars, 5 Yumi, 5 Ashi. All of those cards would have been pretty good. Even 600 coin would have allowed him to get some Ashi out. Export, even an option in and of itself. But he does not go for any of that. He takes the loss. I wanted to point out earlier, Zuda donated 50 subs. I did not notice that was 50 subs. My bad. Thanks so much for that, dude. You're awesome. We just appreciate you guys. The support from the community for ESOC is amazing. Y'all are awesome.
Yeah, that's really great. They just keep the tournaments going. I mean, we aren't getting prize pools out of nowhere. It comes from donations, so it's very much appreciated.
Money doesn't grow on trees.
Yeah, right.
All right, so that concludes game number 3. We are going to game number 4. It is a civ reset, so the players can pick whatever civilization they want. The map is going to be Manchuria, and we'll see what they go with. This map is interesting. It's very it's not quite as I'd say has as many aspects as Dhaka, but it has a lot of different aspects. It's very open. The TPs can spawn basically between each players or behind each players. There's sea with 4 whales and some fish. The map's fairly open, like I already said. There's cliff on one side and sea on the other. There's also livestock on the map. Lots of different options available. It is it's SoldieR to pick first, correct? Yeah, it's SoldieR to pick first.
Yeah, he just got to pick Japan, so
Yeah.
definitely SoldieR. And civ reset, I believe this is 2-1 for SoldieR at this point, I think. So
Yeah.
we had game 4, and there's a civ reset, so they can play again whatever they want. Might see some Japan again for Osman, depending on what SoldieR picks first. But Japan is definitely strong on this map, and well, Osman definitely loves to play Japan. I wonder what SoldieR is gonna pick first here. I think again, a no-brainer pick on this map would be France. It's just strong, and you can't really counter-pick France, but it could be something else.
Yeah, one civilization that SoldieR likes a lot that I think is a little bit weaker on this map specifically is Germany. There's less mines, and mines are really important for Germany. You basically only start with either 2 or 3 mines. If it is 3 mines, it's 2 silver mines and a gold mine on your side, and that's it. You don't have anything else. All the other mines are in the middle of the map or on the opponent's side. If it is, you can potentially start with a gold mine and a silver mine on your side, and that's it. So it's either 2 silver mines and a gold mine or 1 silver mine and a gold mine. That is not very much for Germany. So he could pick it up. That's one of his more common civilizations. We have seen Germany on this map, but I think I agree with you. France would be a better pick here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's also about the livestock and the treasures being
Yeah.
pretty good, and you kind of want to grab this, which Germany is not very good at doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, but if you do get to spawn with 5k gold in base, it's nice for Germany. But yeah, after that, you don't have much on the map. Like the next gold mines are usually in the middle, very hard to control. So yeah, I don't really expect him to lock Germany, but it could also depend on what is going to be the next map. I can check that quickly. It looks like
It's going to be Bering Strait.
yeah. So he might want to keep Germany for that map because it's a good German map overall. So maybe Euro.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Iroquois picked
that's
up.
fine. That's
Yeah,
fine.
I don't know. That's interesting. Iroquois is not a very common blind pick, I would say. While they're decent, they I don't know. I've seen some civilizations match up pretty well into them. I'm not entirely familiar with Osmane's civ, what his strongest civs are. I think one matchup that really favors an opponent in this game or versus Iroquois is Aztec. What's your opinion on that? Does Osmane even play Aztec?
I think Osman can play more or less every civ, but nowhere near as good as his few top civs, basically.
Right.
So he might be able to play stacks, but maybe not well enough to beat SoldieR's hero.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's probably gonna just stick to the, Japan, Otto, France. Japan
Okay.
doesn't do all that bad against hero. I think people kind of like we kind of thinking it's hero favorite, but I'm not so sure about that. On a map like Manchuria, especially again with the livestock and the treasures, which are going to be pretty good for Japan, I think Japan would be a decent pick here. Or he might go France, which
Yeah.
is a matchup I don't like so much against hero, but on this map again, it might be good enough. Otto is also a good counter pick to Hero, but this is a very bad Otto map, so I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll have to see, I guess.
I think perhaps he might save Ottoman for potential game number 5. It's a pretty safe pick. He does play it in game number 4 here. I was gonna say I was kind of expecting France, but it is Ottomans. Yeah, interesting here. I agree with you. It is a little bit Ottomans favored. One thing to point out is if it does to go to age 3 fighting, outside of building an artillery foundry, Iroquois can match Ottomans' military power with strong forest prowlers being able to do well versus the Janissaries that you kind of expect.
Yeah, the hero unit composition is pretty tough for Ottoman to deal with, but thankfully you have the Falconets, and if you can get a decent mass of veteran Abus gun, which is
Yeah.
not always easy, you can't always just mass Abus in H3 and also get the veterancy. But if you can, then you're totally fine for sure. So we'll have to see. The main thing about this matchup, in my opinion, is the kind of domination of Otto in Colonial. That is the biggest problem for Hero. They have no real way to deal with Abus Jan because all their infantry units have a no-quad setup animation, while Abus Jan is insane at kiting. So even if you get a decent mass of Kanyas, they will get to stare, but your units will just be like awkwardly trying to catch up while having that bad animation, and you can't really kill Abus Jan. So Otto can kind of just go Abus Jan, and if Hero is going H3, Otto can just follow up to H3 as well with 3 TP Stagecoach, so or 2, depending on the spawn.
It's gonna be
The
3.
spawn, yeah, that is pretty good for Otto, actually, yeah. So we'll have to see about that.
Yeah, very interesting. I do like when an opponent versus Iroquois goes for a skirmisher type unit, because if your opponent is forced to go, if Iroquois is forced to go into Kanya Horseman, it's kind of like not ideal. 100 food, 75 wood for a weaker unit than Hussar already. Not pop efficient, not cost efficient. It's not.
I think Kenyas are pretty strong, honestly. I mean, they tank so much, really, with the war chief. They tank more than a Hussar, and they're a little bit cheaper. But yeah, you're right. But the problem is that you can't really mass Kenyas as hero. You don't really have the eco to mass such a wood-heavy unit unless you have a stagecoach. But if you don't have a stagecoach outside of crates, you don't have an easy way to mass Kenyas. So yeah, definitely not ideal indeed.
Yeah, the stats are fairly low for Kanye Horseman. It is 285 HP with 27 attack. They have a 30% range
Yeah.
resist also. For 100 foods, I mean, it's 175 resources, but the 75 wood is just a killer.
Yeah, I'm talking about I'm taking into account the War Chief, obviously. Kenya's without War Chief wouldn't be that good, but, well, now the War Chief has been nerfed. It's only 10% HP increase instead of 15. But back when you would have 15% HP on your Kenyas, they would have more HP than a Hussar and 30% range resist. And HP being the more important stats on a cav unit, because you want your
Right.
cav to tank, usually.
Right.
It was really good. They're a little bit worse now with the
Yeah.
nerf, but well, anyway, not a bad unit by any means, but not easy to mass for sure.
Yeah, not easy to mass.
Thankfully, you have that great for Kenya's shipment, which is just absolutely insane.
Yeah, the 4 Kanya, and then also you have some decent shipments in age 3. I believe you have 6 Kanya horsemen. That is a possibility. It is worth noting that on this map, due to a little bit less mines, having food and wood military units is perhaps a little bit better than on other maps. But yeah, well, looking at the map, it spawned fairly. You guys see what the layout of it is. We see Ottomans start with a TP. Looking at the decks real quick, it's worth noting there's 3 privateers in Iroquois' deck. They also only have 7 Aina, 6 Tomahawks, and 4 Kanya horsemen in H2. No other military shipments. There is more possibilities. Could ship 6 Aina, different things like that. Looking at Ottoman's deck, he does have the 2 galleys, 1 frigate. He does have ATP, Silk Road. Yeah, you guys see those decks. We do see that Osmane's deck is a little bit different than what it was on Daka, so he is tailoring his deck to the map and to the matchup. Good on him. I like seeing that.
Yeah, definitely. We see Ottoman already aging, which is, well, to be expected. Kind
Yeah.
of aging quite early. He might have, I didn't pay attention, but he might have eaten a yak to age in time. Maybe he got also a 40. Yeah, he probably got a 40-foot treasure and ate a yak, because that's a pretty fast age of time. And Hero is aging later, but going for the fast age now. So he's going to age before Ottomans, actually.
Yeah, he's also taking, as we were mentioning in an earlier game, taking both of the TPs that are kind of farther away from the center of the map, a little bit more towards, not the corners, but edge of map. And so it's going to allow him to potentially take this TP away from Iroquois later a little bit easier. I really like his play there. That's really smart from him. And he is hitting age 2 shortly. We see Iroquois aged up fast to 2. We'll see what he does with it. He just sent a shipment, I believe. Ottoman has 2 shipments stacked up. Lots of different options available to the Ottomans. We'll see what they do.
Yeah. Wait, he's just going for a tower FF, yeah? Huh. I'm not a fan of that against Hero, but surely there is some... I mean, I understand why you would want to go for a tower FF. It's not easy for Hero to deal with the Falconets. But, you know, fast age Hero can be pretty aggressive. I think Otto should probably be able to defend the pressure, though. He's adding a few more walls as well.
Yeah, I think he should be able to defend. It would be close, but we see that Soldier's second shipment was 5 villagers. So
Yeah.
we see Osmane perhaps reading it fairly well and knowing, or not knowing, but guessing that the opponent is not going to do super heavy aggression. He sends 5 vills right after 3 vills. It looks like Soldier is not doing a whole lot of aggression. This is playing right into Osmane's hand with the FF.
Yeah. Just worth noting as well that Hero doesn't have conservative tactics in deck, which is a great upgrade.
Yeah.
Bit sad to see. Probably because of that 3 privateers, but you know, I'd rather have conservative tactics over 3 privateers on this kind of map any day, because it's not very likely you have to fight for water anyway. But yeah, so that the big button, I guess, or maybe a batch. I didn't. Let's check the
Perhaps
text.
he was planning to go more of an FF sort of plan. Due to the conservative tactics not affecting forest prowlers. But we'll see what he does here. He does get the 5 tomahawks out. He does ship the 800 resources. We'll see what he does as his 4th shipment. He could send the 600 coin and age up pretty quickly, but Osmane already aging to 3. He's going to be definitely behind when it comes to the ages.
Yeah, I mean, and he's gonna have the slow age also if he wants to age to H3. He can't fast age, so that's gonna be a big problem for Hero, because that would mean Otto would have such a large window to punish it. So I'm kind of curious about what SoldieR wants to do, but he's definitely trying to age because he's got Bills and Coin now, so he's popping the big button in his base, which might actually be intentional, because I think he's gonna go for that training post on the left. So popping from TC was a little bit faster than from the War Hut, I guess. So boss TP is gonna go down, and then yeah, I guess Hero is maybe gonna just ship 600 gold now and try to follow up. But yeah, again, it's not gonna be that easy. One thing we have to talk about as well is how OP these yaks are with the farm on this map. It's just so good to open with the farm here. So he's got fat yaks at 7 minutes. It's insane. It's really insane.
The fat yaks, I think I counted that he had 7 earlier. So 7 yaks despite 1 being right here. That's a little bit funny. A little bit outside of the vision. But yeah, he's got 7 yaks, 7 times 400. That is 2,800 resources that gather super, super fast. It's going to be really, really nice boost to his economy for sure. And looking at the economic unit population, it is 28 to 18. And he has the TP advantage once this TP goes down too. We do see the Hussars coming in and taking out a villager. Well done by Osmane, but he definitely has he's definitely on the back foot here. He does have a decent military mass out. 32 Janissaries now, or actually, sorry, my bad. 22 Janissaries along with the... Here, let me look up military units. Get this right.
He's got
14
Jans.
14.
Yeah.
I was reading the military unit population and messing up. But yeah, 16 Janissaries out, 3 Hussar, 2 Falconets versus the 10 Tomahawks from SoldieR. He is aging up now. As we were saying, Osmane definitely has the tech advantage. We'll see if SoldieR can hold off long enough. He has already done the big button, and he has no war hut out. This could be really, really rough for SoldieR really shortly.
Yeah, I don't know how he's gonna survive that. Really, Falconet's coming forward, and Osman, you know, I mean, if your opponent is going fast stage, but he doesn't do anything, I guess you can expect him to be aging, because like, why would he fast stage and then just not pressure you?
Right.
A couple of Hussars going on top of these wheels, more wheels gonna die. I think, I don't want to call it too early, but I just don't see SoldieR surviving that. I mean, he's gonna get right click big time, and market and house going down, war hut already down. Few useless tomahawks because these guys are really not good against Fed Jans and Falks.
I really
And,
like the decision to pull those Janissaries away. The Janissaries, if his TC can stay alive and not lose too many vills, I'm going to like the position from SoldieR here a lot. I don't expect him to hold on to all of that, but pulling the Janissaries away from the TC and the Kanya Horsemen coming out. 4 Kanya
What the
Horsemen
hell?
shipped. Is he going to get the Falconets? This is going to be super, super close.
Yeah,
One
they're
Falconet's going
so
down. Is he
good.
going to get the second? It doesn't look like he's going to get the
not
second.
focusing. He's not focusing the Falk, but they're so
Yeah.
good against Falconet for sure. But yeah, now it's not so good. I mean, he just shipped 4 Kanyas when he was aging, and if you kill only 1 Falk with it, I don't think it's a good trade. And but then again, well, there's only 1 Falk left, which is something. And most importantly, that should be dead. I mean, this should not be going up. But because of the 4 Kanyas, he was able to draw Osman's attention away from the Age of Travois, which is kind of big because usually you would just lose it when you're getting pushed in your age. There's no way you get it up. But now it's up. Not in the best position, but it's up. So he's got a war hut. He's going to be able to train some forest brawlers.
Yeah, one thing that...
maybe okay, yeah. Maybe okay for Hero, actually.
Yeah, it might be okay. One thing that's worth pointing out about the Kanye Horseman is that if he did wait till age 3 and ship it, his TC might have gone down. It would have been close. I don't think it quite would have, but it definitely was safer to send the 4 Kanye Horsemen, I think. Having the Falconet and the Janissaries, they have a whole lot of siege potential. We see this Falconet is almost going down, though. It is on 37 HP, the TC just firing on it the whole time. But yeah, we see the Janissaries and Falconet going forward. We'll see if he is able to find these villagers or not. If he does find them, that could be really good for him.
Yeah, finding 2 yaks as well. That sucks, though, not building that long house completely. That is a problem for SoldieR. He's deleting it. Yeah, because he's housed right now, so it kind of sucks to just not build that.
42 out of 25 population. I would have liked to see that Musket Rider finish off that Falconet. That's what I thought they were doing when they came forward, but he does not. He fires on 1 Janissaries and then takes a bad trade. He does have an opportunity to do so here, though. He runs away. It's a good choice with that amount of Jans out.
Yeah, and we see a second TC being up in the middle of the map for KINGofOsmane, securing a gold mine and not far away from a couple of hunts as well. Also, with 1k gold, just gonna add some Falconets. He's got 2 Falconets in queue, and as much as I'm not a fan of this usually, because people tend to just for some reason make Gen Falconet every game now with a Tower FF, but in this specific matchup, it's pretty hard for Hero to kill the Falconets, so it makes a lot of sense. So he's got a second TC and Falks out, so it's a good use of the 1k wood. Gonna be housed now. He might have to chop some wood. But yeah.
Yeah, one of the
market is up for
weaknesses...
auto, but no market upgrades. But
Interesting.
Yeah.
One of the weaknesses of Iroquois in Age 3 is that they do not have cannons. They do not have a really good way to deal with cannons. Perhaps Musket Riders is the best way. But yeah, 3 Falconets out. One of them is going to go down to the TC fire, but 2 more still out. That's pretty scary. I really like Osmane's position here. 41 military pop to 26. Economy is neck and neck. We see that the villagers just now getting upgraded in the mosque, so he is able to produce more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And when you have the same eco as Otto, you know if something is wrong. And he's got 2 TCs as well, so Otto is gonna keep getting as many vills out as SoldieR, but for free.
yeah.
So definitely a very good position for Osman to be in. He's got an unkillable army right now. He's got the eco advantage essentially, and yeah. So I don't know what Eero does now. Also, Eero was not able to ship units so much because he was housed for so long. He's been floating shipments, and now he's finally got his last shipment on the way, I think. But is it gonna be enough? I don't know what he even ships here. Maybe 5 Krias would be decent, but I don't think it's enough against this mass of Jans. He kind of would like to be able to ship more Musket Riders here, or more. Yeah, he's gonna go for 6 Kanyas, but yeah, he's upgrading them now. But you know, it kind of sucks to have to upgrade just 6 Kanyas.
Yeah, we do see the TC going down from SoldieR. I really like Osmane's position here. It's going to take a lot for SoldieR to come back from this. He's using his Musket Riders to try to pick off the reinforcements. I really like that choice, but he's losing his town in the meantime. It's a pretty hard choice for him here. The Falconet's unprotected though.
Again.
They're going to go down. What the heck?
Oh no.
Now the Forest Prowlers
no.
are uncontested, basically. There's a few Avis are out. But yeah, his Falconet's going down again. Earlier saying there's no way for SoldieR to deal with the army from Osmane. And I was about to say, well, as long as it's micro, right, I agree.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's rough for Osmane. His Falconet's going down. But taking this fight, I still like Osmane's position here.
That is not a good fight for Eero to take. He needed to hit and run. Just be glad you just killed the Falconets. You have more range now. The Falconets are down. You can hit and run Jans forever. Don't fight it like that. Like, that is a terrible trade for SoldieR. He only needed to abuse his mobility and his range now. Imagine just killing these Fals for free and then hit and running all the time these Jans and maybe raiding at the same time because Otto is not mobile at all. And then it would maybe be SoldieR's game. Like, that was kind of a throw by Osman with the Falconets. But now, this is not looking good for Eero at all. I think we are getting close to the end of the game.
I agree with you. Musket Riders against no cavalry is definitely rough. I say that right as the Hussars come in. A little bit of Caster's Curse there. But yeah, it looks like Osmane's army might actually go down to this. It's really, really close. This is interesting.
It's pretty much over, honestly. I mean, there's one goon, the Forest Prowlers are gonna go down, and then all the bills as well. And it's just game over.
There's more Forest Prowlers coming in from behind, but no TC out from SoldieR. You're right, it is effectively GG. Villagers going down too. It's just a matter of time before SoldieR calls it, I think. But yeah, I kind of like the game plan. I like Osmane's game plan a lot, but SoldieR I think perhaps could have put pressure H2, made sure the opponent wasn't doing an FF, and just taking advantage straight away. He does that though. It looks like SoldieR is still hanging on by a thread. 14 economy to 34 though. I have no idea what in the world SoldieR could do to come back from this.
Yeah, 14 vills is rough. Well, he's got a hunt, but no vills to gather from the hunt, so it's not all that relevant, I guess. Yeah, he's just gonna resign soon. He has to. I mean, he's gonna. I see why SoldieR is not resigning. He's got the military advantage now, you know. So who knows? Maybe Osman could just delete his army to Forest Prowlers and. But all Osman has to do now is literally get like 1 Falconet out.
Yeah,
or 2, but, you know.
There is Tomahawks out from SoldieR, so gonna allow a little bit of cav protection. The Forest Prowler is super strong versus the Janissaries, though. Also has a few Kanya Horsemen out. I like that choice. He has the right answers in case there's a couple Falconets or cav, but I don't know. Military advantage definitely over to SoldieR, but economic advantage is almost 3 times better for Osman.
Yeah, GG.
Yeah, the Spy coming out. GG. Yeah,
Oh man, there's no way. He could kill the entire army probably without losing a single Spahi, even without his other units. So, yeah, GG.
I agree with that
That is
completely.
rough. So that makes it 2-2 for
Yeah, 2-2
Ottoman.
for both of them. That's a good game. Once again, we see very similar combat XP. We see the resources gathered actually in Ottoman's favor, and I think that kind of tells the story even before
Yeah.
a lot of the fighting and the Osmane being in Soldier's base. He kind of was he had an advantage economically, I would say. Of course, there's the TPs over for Soldier, but yeah, as Ottomans, if you have just about as strong of an eco as your opponent, you're doing really good for sure.
Yeah, because like getting vills out for free is sometimes an advantage and sometimes not an advantage for Ottoman because obviously you train them slower, but it's also, well, it's free. Uh, so if you have the same eco, it means even though you might get less vills over time, at that given point in the game, you have kind of more eco if you have the same eco because all the
Right.
resources you get, you're going to invest them into units and not into training vills. So at a given point like that, it means Ottoman just has more resources per for massing and when you have two TCs like Osman did, then you produce vills at least as fast as your opponent, depending on your Musk upgrades,
Yeah, for
and but
sure.
for free. So it's just a 500 wood investment, and yeah. So that was I just don't know about Soldier's game plan there. Just kind of like when we saw he was aging, we were already like, yeah, he's gonna be tough to hold the push, right?
Right.
He did get to kill one Falconet with 4 Kenyas, but it wasn't exactly enough. He was just house all the time, couldn't really catch up in military like ever,
I
and yeah,
wonder if he had
didn't.
picked up that second Falconet with his Kanye Horseman. It would have been close whether he could have or not. It obviously was mismicroed. But if he could have picked up that second Falconet, I wonder if that game would have played out differently.
Well, even later when he killed the two more Falconets, if he just hit and run, he could have won. Really, he
Yeah,
just
that's
didn't
true.
need to take that fight straight away. So yeah, I do think that SoldieR might have. He could have won this game. I didn't really like his game plan, but just because he got to kill three Falconets without any Jan protection, he could have won it just because of that sloppy mistake by Osman here.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, touching on the villagers produced for free out of the Ottoman TC, they are a little bit slower produced, but you have more resources to work with because you're not spending resources on the
Yeah.
food. So it's really a matter of what you do with those resources. If you use them to age up or you're more military or more of a boom, you have more to work with. It's just how you use them, and that's going to affect the rest of the game. He uses them to age up to fast to 3, and he takes that game. KINGofOsmane taking game number 4 versus Soldier. It is 2 apiece. Very close series. Who do you think is going to win game number 5? It is Osmane to pick first, I believe. Yeah, it's Osmane to pick first.
If you say so, I'm gonna trust you because I don't know.
I'll double check real quick. It is indeed Osmane to pick first. Osmane to pick, and he goes with Japan on Bering Strait. Interesting. Japan on Bering Strait. What do you think Soldier's gonna play into this?
Uh well, he could just go Aztecs again, right? It worked out pretty well for him in the first game, and this map is not as good for Japan as it was on Kamchatka, so he could totally just abuse his Aztec play here again, or he might go Russia. I don't really see any other. I mean, you could play some other civs, but I don't see anything being as good as Aztecs against Japan here.
That's a fair point. Definitely on Kamchatka, it is more of a wallable map. It's more of a defensive map. This map is completely open, no terrain obstacles to wall to, and even the trade route kind of getting in the way of potential walling a little bit. Yeah, I agree with you. Aztecs would be a very strong pick. Other options into Japan, I think versus Japan, you just have to have a civilization that puts a lot of pressure early. So we could potentially see something like Russia or something, but I agree with you. I think Aztecs is probably the best pick for him here. Already taking was it game number 3?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think so.
game number 3, already taking game number 3 in that matchup. So we'll see what he does here. He might want to change it up though. Russia. Is he gonna pick
Yeah,
Russia?
it's like, it's over for NWC. SoldieR doesn't have so much pressure to win the game right now because anyway his team is out of the tournament. So maybe he's like, yeah, okay, whatever. Let's just play something else instead of again Aztecs into Japan. So yeah, looks like he's gonna mix it up with a bit of Russia now. And I have to be right back, just in 1 minute.
All right, I will ungreen it for you. Let me know when you're back.
But you can go in game, and
Oh,
I
okay.
just join you.
Okay. All right, catch you in a bit. All right, so this is game number 5 between Osmane and SoldieR. It is 2 games apiece. Very close match so far. It is Bering Strait is the map. It's a very, very open map. Japan is picked by KINGofOsmane blind into SoldieR. SoldieR counter picks basically with Russia. So we'll see what happens here. It's going to be really close and going to be interesting. I would probably give Russia an advantage here. Just the ability to put lots of pressure early is really good versus Japan. But we'll see what Osmane does here. He has the ability to Shrine Boom on this map with so many hunts all spread out. But he may not do that. In game number 3, we saw him go with a 2 villager start and just wall up, and it did not work very well versus Aztec. Perhaps Japan has a little bit stronger into Russia than into Aztecs, but Russia has the ability to put lots of units out fast too. So we'll see what happens. Going to be a very close game, I'm pretty sure. Going to be interesting for sure. This is Jailed Casting, Kaiser Klein co-casting. We will start this game in just a moment. All right, yeah, so 1 TP apiece, no natives on this map. Gonna be interesting. There's lots and lots of hunts. There are mines. Each player spawns with a few mines kind of behind their base, basically, to the side of the base rather. So those mines have you can protect all 3 of them fairly easily. They're fairly close to each other. We'll see what Japan does here. You could try to wall some of those in. Versus Russia, I think you need to have some walls. Japan being fairly weak versus Russia's. They're not very strong early on. They're where they really come into their own is later on in the game with techs and with their Shrine Boom. That's where they become very, very strong. Alrighty. Are you back yet, Kaiser? Not yet. Not back yet. Alright, so we'll be starting here very shortly. Gonna be very interesting. I don't know. Russia versus Japan. I definitely give the advantage to Russia. When it comes to units though, if it let's see, it's probably gonna be muskets and or Ruskets, I should say. Ruskets and Cossack out from Russia. On the other hand, some Yumi and some clubs is a possibility. Of course, going straight Ashy is pretty decent too. So straight Ashy and perhaps a few Yumi is a decent option. We'll see what they go with. Gonna be interesting. We see the map, make sure it spawns fairly. It is, yes, a musk deer and musk ox spawn for both players. And yeah, is this?
I think
No, it's fair. Okay.
I think it's fine, yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's fine.
But yeah, I actually think Russia usually tends to open with Stridets against Japan because Stridets they tank a lot against the TC. You can't efficiently TC fire straight heads basically, and Japan has also no way to get any cav out early. Well, they can open with a stable. There are some builds to start with a stable against Russia, in particular, but it's not extremely easy for them. And if you have 5 Cossacks, you're usually able to defend these Naginatas anyway.
Yeah.
We see a consulate opening for King of Osman. I assume this was a wood start, and so that is
Uh,
probably no. Wait, it was
it was
not.
not. It was not a wood start. No.
He
But
just got 40 wood. Yeah.
yeah, he got a 40 wood treasure. SoldieR picks up 30 coin and 75 food. Looks like he's going to age at a decent time. We also see 80 food picked up by Osmane. Nice. That's very nice from him. Osmane does gather 102 wood. The consulate is going to go to Portuguese, and he's going to get a shrine out ASAP. Pretty nice start. He also has 95 wood treasure here that he can pick up. That'd be really nice for him to pick up.
Yeah, I think SoldieR is gonna come close enough, and Osman is probably not gonna try to take it. But definitely already a very good start for Japan. I mean, you don't usually get away with going for a consulate like that when it's not a wood start against Russia. I think it's kind of suicide to just open consulate on 100. I mean, on 200 wood and not on 300. But because you got that small wood treasure and 80 food, I believe that Japan is not even gonna age up late. So that means he gets away with building a consulate, having a cheaper age up, having cheaper buildings in transition to H2 as well, without even being late. So that is great for Japan in this matchup.
Yeah, I agree with you. SoldieR getting some nice treasures himself. He'll be able to age up a little bit faster with less idle TC time. One thing that's worth noting is SoldieR does not have 600 wood in his deck. Do you think that is perhaps a mistake as Russia, being able to get Strelets out and more blockhouses, etc., even houses around the map?
Yeah, I do like 600 wood if you're going for streetlets. It's just, a batch of streetlets is 100 wood, but you also need a house for them, so it's 200 wood. So with 600 wood, you can fuel the mass of just 30 streetlets. So it's fairly easy to use that wood, even if you have the wood trickle all the time, so you don't need as much wood. But still, it can totally be an option. So it's not the biggest deal, but yeah, I would have liked him to have this card in deck. Instead, he's got the church card, which will probably never come into play, because if you want to use that card, you basically have to be H3, because in H2 you get absolutely nothing out of it in H2, actually, do you?
I don't believe so. No, you don't.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. One thing we do see is that the explorer from SoldieR was chasing this monk around the map a lot, and the other monk was able to pick up a couple wood treasures. We see that he picks up 40 wood and another 40 wood with it. So that's really nice from him. In the meantime, Russia does not get any treasures, does not even scout a whole lot. We do see a forward blockhouse coming up from SoldieR, seeing walls coming up from King of Osmane. This is a little bit more like what I expected Japan to play like as opposed to what he did in game number 3.
Yeah, I think part of the reason why he went for Heavenly Kami now and not in the other game is because it's much harder for Russia to siege down shrines than it is for Aztecs. Aztecs have the Pumas, which are fast and have a lot of siege. Russia has to commit to sending musketeers to siege down these shrines. So I guess getting Kami now makes a lot more sense because it's much harder for Russia to punish. Also, when Aztec sieges down some shrines, he may get a lot of XP from it because of his war chief and the fire pit big button, which gives you more XP from killing stuff. So yeah, I do understand why Osman would go for Kami now and not in the other game. And that is a nice. Well, it's kind of an expensive wall, but and that wall is low HP already because Osman attacked. It's kind of hard to explain, but you have to attack one wall segment when the other one is going up, and then it does this. It's kind of a glitch.
So
But
a
yeah.
wall, when being damaged, damages the walls adjacent to it also, and so yeah, we see that's what happened there. We do see no no barracks out yet from KINGofOsmane. He is just now building it. That's pretty late to be starting building your barracks with one villager. We don't see a whole lot of aggression out from a soldier yet, though. He does have a second blockhouse going up. This is going to be interesting. Very, very. It's kind of unusual, and he's sieging the full HP wall. What is he doing
Yeah,
here?
I don't understand.
He could
Also, I'm
siege
pretty
this wall
sure-
right here, the second one away from the consulate, and then the first one would be just
Yeah.
as low HP.
Yeah, he should just attack that wall, the second piece from the left,
Mhm.
and that would damage all the walls basically, and he could get everything down very quickly. Or he could even just go around the wall. It's
Right,
not that,
exactly.
I don't really understand what he's doing at all. Also because he shipped 700 wood first, which is questionable. I mean, imagine 10 threats, 5 Cossacks in this base would have done a lot, actually. Because the wall doesn't really matter. SoldieR could have gone around it, and 5 Coss and threats would just idle him so much. But that being said, we do see KINGofOsmane maybe overreacting with Colonial Militia shipment, which is surely very good for Russia here, because Russia has not invested anything into pressuring, or almost nothing, and Japan reacted with Colonial Militia.
I'm really curious if SoldieR was expecting a similar game plan to game number 3, and that's why he's not focusing on any of the shrines. That's why he is not, rushing too hard. Perhaps he was just expecting a very passive game plan from KINGofOsmane without any boom behind it, and he's building a third blockhouse now. This is interesting. It's looking like he's trying to control the map. I'm not sure he knows that there's a bunch of shrines out on the map already, though.
Yeah, he could know about it if he just clicked a shrine, and if you
Yeah,
see
that's
the
true.
gathering rate, for example, this shrine, which was totally in his line of sight,
He could see Heavenly Kami.
yeah,
He also sees the port's
0.48
consulate,
is,
too. Yeah.
So he should know what's going on, and he should have really abused it. He could have done a whole lot of damage really with 5 costs in the straits. Portuguese consulate is nice, but it means that Osman is not able to get any Japanese consulate units out. So he has to wait until 400 export before he can get the crossbows, which he is doing now, actually. But that means that early on, Japan is going to have less units to defend. So seeing that consulate, I think SoldieR could have rushed just 5 costs, 10 strategies, very standard stuff, idle, do a lot of damage, maybe go back when he goes for Colonial Militia, but until that point you can do a lot of damage. And instead of that, he just lets Japan get away with aging. Like, he's actually aging up now.
Yeah, aging to 3. And he has enough Yumi and Bastillos to defend the army that SoldieR has, too. Yeah, peculiar gameplay from SoldieR. Looks like he may be aging himself really soon. You don't want to take this into age 3, age 4 as Russia. Russia versus Japan, your advantage is age 2. Hard push, early aggression. I don't think Russia has much of an advantage when it comes to later on in the game.
Well, they do have some nice things against Japan, which is also why this matchup is good for Russia. Even if it goes to later game, it's still, like, Russia has a lot of options. For example, they have upraise, which are obviously great at getting the shrines down.
That's true.
They have just strong units. Like, their units scale really well. They have very strong H3 upgrades, like the Street at Combat, Calf Combat, Boyars, obviously, which is a good card even in H3. They have the Falconets, which can be nice against Japan if they don't have flaming arrows yet. So, it's not that bad to be fighting in H3, but if you're going H3 as Russia, you kind of want to do more damage than like killing a couple of shrines and just forcing Colonial Militia is probably not enough. You want to idle Japan to maybe kill some vills, something like that, kill some units, and then you're fine to age. But this is maybe a little bit of a premature age up by Russia.
Yeah, H3, you're right. H3, it's still pretty close, but in H2, you just have such an advantage, I think, over Japan when it comes to H3. the Japan they've closed the gap a little bit in the advantage that they have. I think I could be wrong on that, but yeah, it's interesting, very peculiar game plan out from SoldieR, but we see that Osmane is pushing out now. Not very much anti-cab without scouting what the opponent has. It could have been punished if there was a stable and Cossack out. We do see a stable right here.
He does know that Russia is H3, so he can't have too many units out.
Yeah.
And also there's the fact he's got that wall nearby, so he should be able to hit and run his way through that wall. So I guess that's why he feels safe. You see also these two flaming arrows in range of, I mean, able to shoot at the blockhouses while staying very close to the wall.
Yeah.
So it's kind of pretty safe play by Osman here. And now you like wonder why SoldieR made 3 blockhouses, because they're just going down anyway, and it's just a massive waste of wood. He could have had only 1 blockhouse all the same, and they're just going down now.
He could have built a trade post or even both trade posts in that amount of time. So
yeah, one TP would be great if you're gonna go H3.
Yeah, for sure.
So at least make only 2 blockhouses instead of 3 and get 1 TP. Yeah, that would be better.
Another thing I like doing with Russia, while having a couple blockhouses close together is really nice. If you're trying to do map control, you can put your blockhouse, spread them out on hunts, make sure that the Japanese shrine does not, or Japanese monks don't build on shrines, making sure that the opponents can't get to additional mines. If Osmane was not able to get to these mines over here, he would only have 300 coin left in his base. He wouldn't have access to anything else. But yeah, we see SoldieR going to age 3 here. Military population advantage over to SoldieR, but I like the unit the army composition out from Osmane a little bit more, and his economy is definitely better than SoldieR's too.
Yeah, it's also that I think SoldieR has overreacted to the shrines here, and he's got 10 upgrades, but like he spent a shipment on upgrades, and he also trained some. I think he could have just trained 5 upgrades, which is enough to deal with the shrines anyway, and then just ship something else like falconets or I don't know, anything. But I don't really like that he's made so many upgrades. Sure, he's gonna tear all these shrines down. Like these shrines are gonna go down real quick to that many upgrades, but it also gives more time to Japan to get an actual strong army, and it can be very hard to deal with Japan's army. At some point, it gets out of control. So yeah, I'm not sure I like all these many upgrades, but regardless of the upgrades, SoldieR still has a strong army.
Yeah,
he does need to deal with the flaming arrows, though.
Yeah, I'd like to see some culverins out or something along those lines. One thing that is worth noting with the Opries, perhaps that's keeping Osmane a little bit more in a defensive stance. Because if he goes forward with his army and the Opries are in his base, he can basically base trade with a lot less units and still perhaps defend his own base. So I don't know. I think Opries are okay, but yeah, if he's just going to use them for the shrines, a few less would probably be better.
Yeah, he doesn't need that many of them, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah. Japan is just moving around, adding some more shrines. Russia, he still has a decent amount of hunts. And he's going to eventually catch up in eco, but he's quite far behind for the time being.
Yeah, 35 to 50. One thing that's worth... let's look at Osmane's deck real quick. He does have the 2 vills, the 4 vills, and the 7 vills. So he has the ability to jump ahead even more economically, although he is not doing that for probably some good reasons. Definitely wants to have enough map presence out to keep those shrines out. On the other hand, SoldieR does not have 1k wood. You don't usually, I think as Russia, you correct me if I'm wrong, but especially in 1v1, you don't build extra TCs very often.
Oh, but look at this raid. But yeah. Oh, and fight is going on as well. Yeah, you don't necessarily go for TCs, but you can still invest your wood into stuff like more streetlets or veteran upgrades or another blockhouse somewhere, I don't know, here, for example. So there's ways to use that wood, and yeah, it's a bit unfortunate he doesn't have it in deck. But that raid on the left, is massive.
Huge. Yeah, it's huge.
Man, look at the eco.
Yeah, he's
What?
lost
Russia
so
is
many
at 20
villagers.
vills. What the fuck? Man, that is very bad for him. I don't know if it just didn't notice the raid or what, but he's got no views.
Yeah,
He's gonna kill the Nagis, but yeah.
It's 20 population eco to 53, and that's almost GG right there. Like I think it really is GG. He does have 122 military pop compared to the 76 of Japan, so he has the ability to do a really strong push, and I think we're going to see that out from him. When you lose a bunch of vills like that, your only option is to make something happen quick. He does have double the military population of Japan. He also has the 2 falconets out, which may be able to do something with the flaming arrows.
What is going on?
Oh!
No, what? He should have just shot at this point. He might have just shoot and kill the flaming arrows, even if he's gonna lose his falconets, because now he got shot for free, and this falconet will be taken down quite easily if you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's taken down for free entirely. The Operationics coming in, perhaps just trying to tank a little bit. Yeah, that Falconet still doing some damage. I like the positioning from SoldieR here, though. His units are all in the right place. The Musketeers and the Cavalry are firing onto the Naginata. His Strelets behind firing onto the Ashi and the Yumi. The Flaming Arrow's still up, though, for Osmane. That makes a big difference. The flaming arrows being pulled back now. Are they gonna stay alive or are they gonna die? It's gonna be really, really close.
I think he's gonna lose one of them, maybe.
Maybe
well,
both.
He's gonna lose. Yeah, because he's not pulling them back actually. Oh, one of okay, but okay, this was a good fight for SoldieR. But considering his eco, it was not a good fight. I mean,
exactly. Yeah.
He needed better than that to win the game. It was a good effort, but again, if he didn't have 6 Opries shipped, he might have just instead got straight at combat or calf combat or something, which might have been enough to swing the fight a bit more in his favor. But either way, at the end of the day, yeah, now straight at combat coming in a bit late. I think this is, not looking good for Russia. I mean, this trade was not enough. He's got a terrible eco. I mean, absolutely terrible eco. And soon enough, Japan is gonna remass enough units to really pull ahead in the military. And also, oh man, he's gonna lose more views. Jesus Christ, that's not good for him.
Yeah, oh my goodness. Yeah, those other vills, dang. So, yeah, that last fight, while it perhaps was a little bit better for SoldieR, it wasn't terrible for Osmane. And he didn't lose the fight in a dramatic way, and the game is not over because he doesn't lose the game because of it. So it wasn't terrible for Osmane, and with the economic difference, it was definitely a good for Osmane. He was able to hold, he was able to defend well enough that he just has such a huge lead right now. I don't know what SoldieR can possibly do. The military population is really, really close. The Strelets not being as pop efficient as, say, Ashi or Yumi. So it's actually pretty much neck and neck. And the economy just landslide in favor of Osmane. I don't know what can be done at the moment. He's using his Operationics to try to do stuff. But the Naginata even pick up the Opry. So... yeah.
It's also he's up against Japan, so he's lost his entire eco. But let's say he would be against Otto, he would still have a shot because Otto doesn't skate really well. But this isn't Otto. This is Japan, and man, you're not gonna win like that. At some you have to crush him. If he would have crushed that fight somehow, then he might be okay even with no eco. But now, no way. Look at this batch of Nagis popping 10. Or 8 Nagis with the 30% HP card on them, which is an insane card, by the way. And now Russia is taking down some shrines, but doesn't matter. Well, he's gonna kill some vills. That is a good start into coming back in this game.
If he could kill all of them, it would be really nice. But at the same time, perhaps pulling SoldieR into this fight, and I don't know how he's going to make it out of this fight. That's a lot of cavalry archers.
more Nagis coming in as well.
Yeah.
Maybe too many Nagis actually. I think all he needs is enough Nagis to tank and snare. He doesn't need Nagis to really like kill the Strelets. Because there's so many Kavachas, so if he gets too many Nagis, they might just die to the Kavachas. But regardless, there's just a stronger and bigger Japan army at this point. He's got 2 upgrades on his units. He's got a lot of stuff. I think we're gonna see SoldieR resign extremely soon, in the next seconds for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, well played from Osmane. That I think that was every other game was won by the other player or something along those lines. We see that Osmane wins the match 3-2. Well played from both players. That was some pretty exciting. It was somewhat I wouldn't necessarily say one-sided, but some of the games were they flopped back and forth in one player's favor pretty dramatically. But yeah, interesting games. We'll look at some of the post-game stats for you guys. Yeah, a lot more combat XP over to SoldieR, but a lot of that is due to killing the shrines. We'll look at the military units killed. Osmane killed many more.
Also, Russian units actually grant you the same amount of XP as if they were not discounted. So, for example, a Russian Musk gives you 10 XP, but it's in fact worth 7.5 XP. And same for the Strelets. So basically, it inflates the XP your opponent gets by killing the units.
Yeah, really, really well played from both players, but we see that Osmane definitely picks that game. If SoldieR hadn't lost all of his villagers, that would have been very, very close. The rest of that game, I don't know who would have won, honestly, if he didn't lose all those villagers. That would have been a very exciting game for sure.
He just lost 22 vills. Like, he goes down from 36 to 17 while also getting a batch of 3 out. So that's 22 vills dead. What? I don't know how this is possible, but it's... Yeah, that was not very good for SoldieR. And I mean, did you see how much more units he had? If only he didn't lose his entire eco there, he would have crushed the fight and won the game, most likely. So it's very unfortunate for SoldieR that he got raided like that. I don't know how he lost so many vills, but yeah.
Yeah, we do have to credit Osmane for raiding well. A lot of those villagers were not anywhere close to safety. So he recognized that, and it's both SoldieR not reacting, not dealing with that fast enough, while Osmane also doing really well raiding them. So well played. That concludes game number 5. This has been Jailed Casting and Kaiser Klein co-casting. Thanks so much for joining us, and I appreciate you, Kaiser. Thanks for this co-cast. I appreciate it a lot.
Well, yeah, thanks for being the main caster. I enjoyed casting with you, and I hope everyone enjoyed watching it. Was a pretty good series, I think.
Yeah, 3-2. You're not going to complain about a series that goes to 3-2.
Yeah.
That concludes this match. We are going to end the stream and send you guys over to ESOC TV2 for another match going on. We'll catch you guys